I'm going to show you how to add media such as still photos and songs or other types of sound effects that you could use to enhance your video. So just to orient you, sometimes this is your media, your libraries, where you see your photo libraries. Sometimes it doesn't appear. If you toggle this little button, it makes it appear and reappear. So sometimes you may not see it. So this allows you to have access to your photos library. And if there may be some other stuff here, maybe some footage listed here that's not your own, or footage you're working on. This would all be listed here, especially for your iMovie library. That's my event right here. I have 1:14:16. So if I click on photo library, anything I have loaded in photos, which used to be called iPhotos, is going to show up. And it looks like, they're just still images, but when you put them and you drag them down here, they have a tendency to move, and that's because by default it's using the Ken Burns effect. Most people they stick with it, they leave it. You can always change it. If you highlight that clip, go over here to the crop symbol, which is the third over here. Notice you get these wireframes. Wireframes are where you'll see start and end, and you can adjust these however you want, and it shows you the little arrow shows the direction. If you want to turn it off, we can do fit or crop to fit, which actually crops it in the aspect ratio, but we'll do fit. The problem with this is when you have a still image on the screen, it's extremely boring. So what the Ken Burns effect does is it makes it so it's more interesting, because even though the picture's moving, it's a still picture, it sort of psychologically works in the favor of the filmmaker to kind of imply that there's some action going on when there really isn't. And it's a really great technique. Most people just leave them on, and that's why by default it's on. Notice I've turned it off, so if I scrub over my footage here, nothing happens. If I scrub here, this one has it and this one doesn't. If I wanted to add another picture, I can just click here and drop it. Maybe I want to put it in between those. Bloop. And this one by default, Ken Burns effect. But if you notice, what happens when I drop it? It stays at 4.0 seconds. So by default, it's 4.0 seconds for every still picture. You can always drag it to make it longer or shorter. Most people would do this to illustrate some point. They have text and they're talking and they want the background picture to be, what they're talking about. So that's inserting a picture. It's very easy to do. The other thing is inserting audio. So with audio, you want it, a lot of times you're working with external audio, not something that you've recorded on it, like doing a voiceover. This one is some songs. I've loaded some into iTunes, and this is where it's going to pull it from. So there's one thing that I wanted, and it's called Fantasy Island Intro Opening Theme. And here it has the name of the person if there is one. This is from Season 3, Fantasy Island Intro Opening Theme, and it's 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Now the duration, you can always shrink it, but you can't make it longer. If you want to make a clip longer, you have to loop it, which in effect is just copying it again and repeating it. So I'm going to take and select this, pull it down, and audio always appears green. I'm going to put it at the front, and notice it just keeps going on and on until it stops 4 minutes later. And one thing you can do with audio is you can double click, and up here we can see there's the sound wave. And if you hover over here, you can go up and down with the gain. You can only go up to 400, and 100 is normal. So if you want to make it softer, you can drop it down below 100%. I'll just leave it at that. Then you have these little dots that appear on the front, and there's one all the way at the end too. And this is your fade in and fade out. You can manually adjust this, and you can see what it does to the sound wave. And if I play this now, you'll see it it fades in. You may or may not have been able to hear that, but it's very subtle. And you can drag this, it only does but so much. Sometimes with music, there is built-in fade in and fade out, especially popular music or songs in themselves. So what if I wanted to do something else with this music? Say I wanted to just end it right here. Put your playhead where you want to do something, and you can always go up to modify and split clip. This also works for video footage, but also works for audio, and that's what I did. I can then highlight this extra footage, hit my delete key, and it disappears. And then now this is my end. Now I can go ahead and reduce the volume of that. And notice it kind of gives you a number, the seconds there. So we're working with an extremely short clip that's only 12 seconds long. I just put 12 seconds of sound with that clip.